Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the BCA-SCAL webinar on technology adoption and supply chain resilience. My name is Colin from BCA. We are very grateful to have the Singapore Contractors Association Limited SCAL in joining us today to organize this live webinar. As we transit from restart to recovery and now moving towards developing resilience, it is timely to share with the industry on how technology adoption is able to help stakeholders overcome current challenges and disruptions as well as improve supply chain. Before we start, I would like to quickly run through some housekeeping measures. Please note that as participants, you are on mute setting. Should you have any questions or if you wish to add to the discussion, you may do so by clicking the Q&A button on your screen to type in your queries or inputs. When we get to the Q&A segment, we will also be activating the raise hand function to take on live questions or comments from the audience. Should you wish to ask a question verbally at that time, do click the raise hand icon. Do also note that when the session ends, you will be directed to access an evaluation form after you have exited the webinar. Once submitted, you will be able to download the speaker's presentation materials via the website as shown. Here's an overview of today's program. The webinar co-chairs will first give their welcome addresses, followed by presentations by BCA, BCA-SCAL, and IMDA. The session will then end off with a Q&A segment. Let us first invite Mr. Leong Yuan Ming, Chief Technology Officer, Strategic Planning and Transformation Office, BCA, as well as Mr. Raymond Chan, Council Member of SCAL, to deliver their welcome addresses. Webinar co-chairs, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for making the time to attend this webinar. Very warm welcome to join this webinar between BCA and SCAL. I'm Yuan Ming, the CTO of BCA. Yeah, so I believe many of us are still going through these turbulent times since March this year. Unfortunately, the ending to this whole saga is not quite in sight yet, noting that many of the countries are still struggling to contain the situation at the moment. The thing for sure is that moving forward, it is not going to be business as usual. Our industry must be prepared for a new normal. And one of this new normal is going to be digitalization, or simply I call it the adoption of digital solutions to transform our conventional business practices. Just like the F&B and retail sectors, they are learning to sell stuff online and making doorstep delivery as compared to their traditional walk-in sales practices. So likewise, the building and construction sectors also need to evolve, right? In order to stay relevant. End of the day, it's all about survival. Our sector has long grumbled about the razor-thin profit margins. Moving ahead, continuing business the usual way is for sure not going to help us yield better margins. Thus, it's imminent that the business across the value chain must evolve. And in view of the current COVID situation, the more we must speed up this process. One of the key enablers is to go digital. Going digital is about adopting digital solutions to transform our business process flows in delivering better cost efficiencies, safety, time, and quality. Digital solutions are wide-ranging. It ranges from the adoptions of digital solution to enforce worksite safety management measures. In short, we call them SMM, to managing sites documentation, to the conduct of the inspection, to design and plan through BIM, to administering progressive payment, to project coordination, etc., etc. And the list goes on. Today's webinar will touch on some of such initiatives, namely the COVID Safe platform, in short, CSP, to help firms better manage SMM on the ground at the work site The second topic is on virtual collaboration for smarter inspections. And the third topic is on digital solutions tailored more for the SME. So in this aspect, the government would like to work with the industry to roll out more of such initiatives known as the integrated digital delivery, or in short, IDD. Right? Our target for IDD is to achieve 70% adoption by 2025. However, today we are only about 20% there. So you can see there's still a lot more to do in this coming 5 years. I therefore urge all our industry partners to come on board this journey with us. And together, I'm sure we could make building and construction sectors healthier and more prosperous. And most importantly is to create a better job environment for everybody, right? With that, I wish everybody have a good time in enjoying this afternoon webinar. So thanks very much.
Mr. Raymond Chan.
Hi, thanks, Colin. Very good afternoon, colleagues of the Built Environment. I'm Raymond Chan from Team Build, and we're council members with SCAL as well. I think the adaptation of technology and IDD is something that has been for the Built Environment has been in the pipeline for a while. But I think the pandemic has made it more relevant and even more important now. I don't think any of us would expect us to be having technical discussion and progress meeting over Zoom or over where we are all in different space. So together with this situation that we are forced to, I think it's give us a good opportunity to further enhance what we already overcome, the initial fear of using such technologies to make our working norm more efficient and productive. One norm, the new norm that we're facing will be probably disruption as we go along until this whole pandemic is over. And in terms of supply chain resilience, that is something that we would have to build on in order to mitigate the impact and the effect of the disruption. So with that, I think we have three experts that is going to share with us their takes on this, and I don't hold you back any further. So I'll hand over back to the MC to invite the speakers to share with us their solutions.
Sure. All right. Thank you, webinar co-chairs. First up, we have Engineer Kelvin Ng, Senior Engineer, BCA, who will be sharing on the overview of COVID-safe platforms and Advanced Digital Solutions ADS scheme. Engineer Ng, please.
A very good afternoon to all. I am Kelvin from the Department of Transformation and Digitalization, BCA. In this first item, I will be sharing with you on the COVID-safe platform, CSP in short, and how it can help firms better manage SMM, as well as how your firm can sign up and be onboarded to CSP. Administrator, can you help me to unpin? I can't control the slides. Okay, thanks. So the CSP, short form for COVID-safe platform, is designed to be a one-stop solution to support the safe restart of the built environment industry. So this is done by improving the efficiency of implementing the COVID-safe control measures or the COVID-safe restart criteria at the project sites through digitalization of certain work processes covering safe workforce, safe work site, accommodation, and transport. So a key aspect of CSP is that it comprises of a central database that taps on relevant government databases, shown in orange towards the right of the screen, including Safe Entry, Access Code, and Rebuild SG project restart data. And these databases can be integrated seamlessly with worksite devices in blue to make possible effective site management and oversight, shown in green, aiding the post-hoc safety stoppages, pre-hoc preventive management, as well as routine worksite access management. So CSP facilitates firms to manage the COVID-safe control measures at work sites in a comprehensive manner. And this is done through systems predominantly in the safe workforce and worksite aspects through existing systems such as Trace Together, access code, and the Safe Entry. So CSP actually builds on them by streamlining and integrating access code and Safe Entry by providing a central repository of information which may be tapped on by site hardware devices such as thermal biometric scanners for the whitelist check at site entrances. Remote monitoring is also made possible for site managers to oversee that social distancing measures are adhered to on site with early warning capabilities using data analytics. Moving on, I'd like to share that CSP is being set up with a back-end system in blue and a front-end system in green, shown on this slide. So the back-end system comprises of the COVID safe management system, which can tap onto the respective government databases. This is developed by BCA and supplied or fulfilled by Harbour, and is offered free of charge for the first year. The front-end system, highlighted green below, consists of the site management platform, which enables alert management, reporting, and documentation. And this is supported by the thermal and facial recognition scanner under the worksite access control module, as well as the imaging area monitoring devices such as AI camera and Bluetooth monitoring devices under the remote monitoring module. So the front-end system is supplied through the ADS project leads assigned by IMDA. This ADS, short form for Advanced Digital Solutions, is to support construction firms in adopting solutions for safe reopening and longer-term digitalization efforts to enhance resilience and efficiency. So local construction companies can receive funding up to 80% of the cost of the integrated solutions, subject to a cap of 200,000 per company under the ADS grant. And for CSP in particular, eligible contractors can tap on up to 20,000 per work site, up to a cap of 5 work sites, to help defray the cost. So CSP essentially makes possible more efficient and seamless processes for firms, especially contractors, to work in a more digitalized manner, enabling automation and integration of respective processes to ensure safety. So you may refer to this slide for further details on the sub-aspects addressed with CSP. We also like to share that our team is constantly working to enable more features progressively. So there's ongoing work to make possible better post-hoc and pre-hoc management with BluePass. So for post-hoc C+ containment, it is intended for close contacts to be able to be detected, making possible more targeted surgical safety timeout for less disruption to work. Additionally, the pre-hoc portion aims to ensure safe working by identifying intermingling amongst workers and to narrow down the area of contact. Next, so summing up, it is possible to improve the efficiency of implementing the COVID-safe control measures for projects with CSP. This is done through integration with the government databases, automation of work processes, and early detection of anomalies. Constant development is also being done, with development involving BluePass, aiming to make possible more effective pre-hoc preventive measures and post-hoc containment. The CSP has been piloted since mid this year, and we wish to bring our attention to the efforts on Kim Chuan Depot Extension and the JTC Logistics Hub. For Kim Chuan Depot Extension, the workforce is segregated according to predefined zones and do not intermingle. Hardware such as the AI cameras and the facial thermal scanners have been installed while workers carry with them the Bluetooth wearables in place. In an event that there's a unfortunate COVID-19 case, contact tracing can then be carried out more quickly and accurately, narrowing down the areas that need to stop work. So these digital solutions are linked via CSP to facilitate the data exchanges with the government databases that I shared earlier to improve the ease and efficiency of complying with the COVID safe restart criteria. So for example, the whitelist checks being made possible at the site entrances. Minister Desmond Lee also visited this site and commented it is indeed a way for technology to minimize disruption and urged more contractors to adopt such digital solutions to boost the safety of our work sites. For JTC Logistics Hub, the contractor adopted digital solutions such as thermal scanners with facial recognition technology and Bluetooth-enabled smart wearables that can alert workers when they come into close contact. So they'll come out with a beeping sound for early detection. In this, more timely information is being made through CSP so that anomalies can be quickly identified and the timely remedial actions can be undertaken. The JTC director, Mr. Wong, highlighted that the data transparency that arises from this system allows for better management of workers. Next, so we like to urge all to consider signing up for CSP to work more effectively and efficiently. After this webinar, you may reach out to the ADS project leads to first schedule a site visit with the solution providers to better understand your the site configuration and requirement for CSP, followed by a quotation for your consideration within a week. And thereafter, after acceptance, steps 4 and 5 generally involve the preparation and approval of the ADS grant, which I shared earlier. It covers up to 80% of the cost, and followed by the last step, which is the deployment processes, which will involve the customized procurement and setting up of the required hardware and software. So the URL link is indicated below if you would like to find out more. Okay, so with that, allow me to close this segment of the webinar on the CSP. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Engineer Ng. Next, we have Mr. Muhammad Kali, Senior Digital Delivery Manager at Bao State Project E&C, who will touch on virtual collaboration and inspection sites for efficient and pandemic resilient progress management in construction. Mr. Kali, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, BCA. Thank you, SCAL, for inviting me today and inviting for me to represent my company, Bao State Project. So today I'd like to share with you guys how virtual collaboration and virtual inspection for site come into play for us to continue our work process in this, if I may say, black swan event or unprecedented time. So allow me to share with you. Right, so Bao State, our aim, we want to transform the industry with digital delivery. So if we look at the IDD framework and process, we look at design, digital construction, digital fabrication, and of course, digital facilities and asset management. But today I'm going to share with you how we embark on virtual inspection and coordination, more on a digital construction. Right, in terms of project implementation, we have embarked on a paperless exchange of design digitally using a digital model, intensive collaboration period or intensive collaboration. We use cloud, mixed reality, VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, AI verification and drones, digital project management, digital fabrication, digital model with a certain level of detail, digital inspections, digital tracking, and of course, digital facilities management for asset information handover. Right, so let's start with digital model. If you guys know digital model, or in short, or what we term as a building information model, it can be used during construction to identify critical phase increase our productivity, making improvement and coordinations with a digital model. These are some example of video, what we do with a digital model. We have installation sequence, we have 4D sequence that integrate with the timeline and schedule. Right. All right, I mentioned earlier how we want to collaborate intensively. So conventionally or before COVID, this is what we do. We collaborate in a room, sharing of visualization model, validation of design intent model, identify issue, involvement of multiple stakeholder. And these are done in a physical environment or in a physical room using a digital content. But now moving forward, we want to replicate the same experience in terms of physical, but into a digital or virtual environment in that sense. So what you can see here is a conventional. Now, during COVID, we have identified, gone are those days where we can meet up physically. So this is a very example how we use a VR platform to effectively coordinate issues that we have identified within the digital or building information model. These have resulted in reduction in non-essential physical site visit. Of course, during the pandemic, we cannot conduct a physical coordination meeting. So this kind of meeting can be facilitated through a VR platform, and this allows us to collaborate remotely with multiple stakeholders and allow us to continue our work process in terms of design coordination or construction coordination. And this can be done virtually anytime, anywhere, as long as you have internet access. But there are, of course, some challenges in using this. Internet connectivity is one of them. So we are looking forward to the 5G implementation in this context to make sure that the smooth running of this platform can be done effectively. Right, next I want to share or touch on a digital and virtual inspection. You do know, right, during pandemic or COVID-19 circuit breaker, if I may say, phase 1, phase 2, many non-essential site visit can be conducted effectively. You have very little or no overview of the site, of your progress, of your individual site. So here what we did was, because with very little or no overview in that sense, or you minimize the physical or the human interaction on site, we are using a 360 camera that allows us to capture, visualize the site progress anytime, anywhere. So allow me to share with you this video. All right. Yeah, that's a short video of what we have done in terms of capturing 360 image. So allow me to just summarize. So what you see is we use 360 camera to capture 360 image, and this capture then images are being kept in a time capsule, if you may say, and you can compare different timeline at different dates or different location. And if we look at the conventional way, daily communication, miscommunication could happen. And like I said, very little or no overview. Now, effectively with a 360 camera, you can mount on your hard hat, you walk the site, you can share these images and data together with your whole stakeholder, in this case, your client representative or even the consultant. And as I mentioned earlier, because only essential site staff allowed into the site or your project site, and your engineers or your safety coordinators or safety managers can embark on use of this 360 camera, and then capture those image and then share and collaborate all these image with your project stakeholder. So this slide is to share with you guys how in terms of savings you can get out of capturing using a 360 camera, the time taken to use a 360 camera, and the saving that you get as compared to a conventional. And of course, if you talk about a conventional implementation or inspection, the risk of the unknown, some of these areas that are not able to capture. And at the same time, minimizing physical sidewalk on site. Right, so let me just... Okay, I'd like to share another, from one of my site engineers who have used it, and let's hear from him what he got to say about this site inspection or virtual site inspection.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Wai Hong, site engineer from Fastech. I'm in the operation team. So I started to use the A360 on October. I've been using for more than 1 month. In my opinion, the A360 is a good app because it captures the image in the 360 degree, which compared to 2D is only show the specific location. So the viewer can turn around and see the image of the location taken in 360 degree, means behind, on top, below, all they can see. So they can know the progress without coming to site. It's like a virtual presentation to them. Yeah, that's all. Okay, in terms of the productivity, I think it can help to increase the productivity because we can see the progress by taking the photo at the same location. And when we taking the same at the same location, we can see the comparison between the last week and this week. So we can know is there any progress on this location or not. If there are no progress, we can push for the more manpower or the material to come in. So it can help to increase our productivity, and also it can also not only for the site progress, it also can be used for the quality and the safety progress. For example, the safety can use the image to see any hazard or any unsafe behavior, and also for the quality part, they also can check the quality, any quality issue or not. Yes. Thank you.
Yep. So effectively, is what one of my engineer or my colleague or Wai Chong mentioned. Yeah, another video again to show you guys how we use 360 to capture example of a Google Street View. Okay, so if you guys have seen those videos, allow me to just summarize what you guys have seen. You see, with 360 camera, you have a general overview or a clear image of the site progress. Not only that, beside inspection, as what my colleague Wai Hong, the engineer, mentioned, you can use it for your quality and also safety compliance in that sense. So here is an example of a side-by-side comparison of a site progress using a 360 camera capture. You can use the time capsule effectively for you to compare and see whether is there any progress have been done on those dates. And one of our BIM engineer using the Ergo 360 mobile apps or platform, if I may say, and effectively this data is being transferred back to him, and he can continue to update the digital model or the building information model to see what are the if there's any missing out on some items or progress in that sense. Right, so our vision is to be the leading provider of innovative real estate solution in Asia, offering a full suite of smart, eco-sustainable solutions that enhance the built environment and ecosystem. And our mission to provide technology-driven design, engineering, and delivery end-to-end smart, eco-sustainable real estate solution that can be deployed in any industry and market. So of course, I didn't do that alone. These are the team or the guys who help to drive digital and technology adoption within the organization, right? And we work very closely with a lot of technology vendor to help us and augment some of those digital work process that we have within the organization. And of course, with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. I would like to say thank you. And you may wish to contact me for any further discussion or question if you have. And this is my contact, my email address and my mobile number. And you may scan the QR code for my LinkedIn profile. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Guru.
Kalia, and thank you for sharing with us your application of technology on your site, and also graciously sharing your handphone number with all of us as well. So thank you so much. Next, we are also pleased to have with us Mr. Liang Shaohong, Manager, SME Go Digital, IMDA, who will be sharing on the SMEs Go Digital Program and Construction Site and Construction and Facilities Management Industry Digital Plan. So Shaohong, please, over to you.
Hi, a very good afternoon, everyone. Before I start my presentation, allow me to share a video of SME success story for the construction and FM facility management sector that was actually developed and actually launched in March this year.
Technology has greatly enhanced our ability to coordinate both internally and with external partners on complex designs. When coupled with the seamless information transfer across various platforms, we're able to communicate more effectively and create better designs.
At MKPL Architects, we have adopted multiple digital design tools. We are now able to generate unlimited amount of data and drawings from a single 3D construction model, improving efficiency while minimizing human errors.
To change from 2D drawings to 3D modeling is a huge challenge for us. We had to convince our staff on the needs and means in using this new technology. The 3D modeling enabled us to detect the clashes early as compared to using 2D drawings, so that we can resolve these issues earlier before even the construction work begins. It brings down our activation cost by 90%.
We have built capability to enable virtual design and construction in the construction process. So VDC actually encompasses a modeling technology with advanced management processes. We have reduced the risk of understanding incorrectly by more than 2 times.
In 3D nowadays is different. Everything is made in the computer, there is less problem on the site. 因为这个如果有新的东西啊，所以我们好像这种年纪啊，活得老学到老啊。
In the past, our engineers have to come back to office to do paper quotations using Excel and Word. But now with ERP, we integrate the backend processes such as quotations, claims, all the way to invoicing on a single platform. And with this, engineers, they can work remotely from their side office or from their home.
TeamView works with many subcontractors, and it's very important for us to have accurate information of every worker that comes into our site. With our integrated safety and security system, ISQ, we are able to track workers' attendance in our site using radio frequency identification. This has led to an increase in administrative productivity by at least 50%.
As a subcontractor, we use main contractor's digital solution. This has helped us to better tracking site progress and also ensure safety compliance amongst workers are all in place at all times.
Digital technology is the key enabler for us to improve efficiency, deliver better service, and improve workplace safety. Behind me is the Digital Command Center of the future.
Hi, once again, a very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shao Hong. I am from IMDA's SME Go Digital team. So before I start, I would like to say a big thank you to BCA and SCAL for having me here. Hopefully, by the end of my presentation, I can help you understand how we make going digital simple for our SME. So there's no doubt that Singapore has been doing very well in their economy for the past decade. However, having to move forward and also to, in view of the disruption from digitalization, there's a need for actually to reinvent Singapore as a leading digital economy. So that's the reason why Digital Economy Framework for Action was introduced. In this framework, we aim to actually help every business in Singapore to become a digital business, and also every worker in Singapore to be empowered by technology. So why SME? Because SME are actually a major engine of the economy in Singapore and also a significant employer. Out of all the companies in Singapore, 99% are actually SME, and they hire up to 2/3 of the total workforce in Singapore. And finally, the most important part is they actually contribute to up to 50% of the GDP in Singapore. So coming back to SME Go Digital program, this program is all about supporting our SME to digitalize and also making it simple for them to adopt digital solutions. To date, we have actually 14 industry digital plans, which we call IDPs, and these IDPs cover 14 industries. So we have also pre-approved 200 plus pre-approved solutions, and these solutions includes the solutions that in partnership with the banks and the telcos to actually drive adoption. To date, we are proud to say that we have more than 50,000 SMEs who have actually adopted digital solutions through our program. How does our program make going digital simple for our SME? So there are 3 steps. The first step, you can take a look at the industry digital plan for your sector first. In this case, will be the construction and facility management IDP. So you can use the IDP as a guide for the categories of digital solutions that are applicable, and also trainings that are required for each stage of your digital growth and your business growth. And the second step is actually to browse our pre-approved solution list in the Go Business website to see if there's any that actually fits your digitalization needs. You can actually contact the solution provider to find out more and also to discuss with them. If you need funding support for the pre-approved solutions, you can actually apply for the Productivity Solutions Grant, PSG, at the Business Grants portal. Of course, you can also apply for training subsidies under the SkillsFuture Enterprise Credits. And finally, in the third step, it's about where the SME can actually get help. If you need someone to look for digital advisory, you can actually make an appointment with a business advisor at your nearest SME centers. The SME centers will also refer you to our SME Digital Tech Hub, which I'll share more later for further IT advisory service. In summary, first step, take a look at the IDP, use it as a guide to see potential areas you can actually digitalize to improve your productivity. Step 2, look at the pre-approved digital solutions in Go Business website, discuss with the vendor, and afterwards, if you need grant support, you can actually submit the grant application at BGP. And finally, third step, If you need someone to talk to for advisory, you can actually approach the SME centers. As I mentioned, currently we have 15 IDPs launched for 14 ITM sectors. So in this year, we actually launched IDP for the construction and facility management sector, the refreshed logistic IDP that covers both logistic and air transportation in sector, the training and adult education sectors, sea transport bunkering sector, and also lastly, the most latest one, which is the land transport chartering bus service IDP. In Singapore, we have identified total 23 industry sectors, and we have covered 14 of them. Efforts are on the way to actually develop more IDPs for the remaining of the sectors. So when we ask people to digitalize, a lot of people ask us, how does it benefit? So we are actually confident to say that it's actually digitalization will help our SME. In a recent study last year by MIT, we actually saw a significant increase in value and productivity for SME when they use additional digital technology for their businesses. That includes e-payment, e-commerce, IoT, data analytics, and AI. So when it comes to product value added, we saw an increase of 26% and productivity an increase of 17%. Coming back to the construction and FM in IDP, it was launched in partnership with BCA and SCAL and also other stakeholders in the built environment sector. So this was launched in March 2020. This is a summary of the different types of digital solutions. You can actually find this in our construction and FM IDP as well. This is a summary view of all the different types of digital solutions for construction and FM. Currently, total 16 solutions category have been identified for this sector, and they are actually categorized into 3 different stages. Just now I mentioned that not only can you find information on digital solutions, you can actually find information on the training as well. So over here, if you on the right side, there's actually 2 QR codes that actually look into the BCAA and also Singapore Poly that has courses curated for the construction and FM sector. So actually these training courses are also in line with the 3 stages of the IDP digital roadmap as well. Just now I mentioned about the pre-approved solutions. Today we have more than 200 pre-approved digital solutions that is actually grant supportable. Some are actually broad-based solutions types such as accounting, HRM, payroll, CRM, inventory management, which are applicable for all the sectors. We also have sector-based solutions, which actually addresses the business need and the operations for particular sector. So the next question is, where do I find the pre-approved solutions? You actually scan the QR code to actually go to the website, the Go Business Gov Assist website. So once you go there, you can actually find the pre-approved solutions and look for the pre-scope IT solution and select sectors so that you will see the available categories inside. When you drag down by categories, you'll find all the listed pre-approved solutions. Next, I will go into some basic processes of applying for the grant support. So after you have decided on procuring a pre-approved solutions, you can actually, like I say, talk to the vendors to actually let them know about your requirements first. After which, and get a quotation. Now you can actually apply for the grant support in the PGP, and this grant application processing will be handled by the sector agency. In this case, for construction and FM, it will be BCA. After the grant application is approved, then you can actually deploy the solutions and subsequently submit the invoice for claim. Just to highlight for the PSG grant, there will be up to 80% funding support from now till September 2021. And after September 2021, you'll return back to the original 70% funding support. So we actually, when we look at adopting the digital solutions, we actually found that a lot of SMEs not only experience increase in productivity, some of them actually experience growth in their sales, and some of them through digitalization, they actually managed to increase their export to other countries. Of course, time saving is one of the main benefits that actually a lot of the SME actually enjoy when they adopt a digital solutions. And in some of the cases, we actually saw that after the company experienced a certain benefit from adopting a digital solutions, they pass on the solutions benefit to their employees. So in some of the companies, actually the employees enjoy wage increase as well. So what I'll be showing next is actually some of the things that you actually seen in the video I have shown just now. Some of the companies such as NKPL Architects, after some of the after adopting some of the digital design tools and also the solutions benefit they have actually enjoyed after adopting these solutions. DLE M&E Private Limited, so they actually adopted the VDC solutions and also look at the smart board and internet connectivity to actually conduct integrated concurrent engineering sessions. And also they have also adopted an ERP solution as well. So actually, as mentioned in the video, a lot of them actually enjoyed a lot of benefits out of this digitization, and it's actually, as mentioned, is the way moving forward. Hongkit Construction Private Limited is also, they also adopted BIM solutions and also construction 3D modeling technology as well. As mentioned, they actually enjoy a lot of reduce their actually rectification costs by up to 90%, as they actually have lesser abortive work when it comes to construction. Time savings and also 3D visualization helps the firm present to their clients confidently and also better connect with the clients. So not only are we looking at pre-scope IT solutions, we actually, for more innovative solutions, we do have the pilot program. We look at helping the SME explore new solutions for their sector. So for this, we actually work with vendors actually to look at how we can actually scale up some of the solutions across different sectors. We look at currently we have some projects that is looking at retailers and fleet forwarders and also the security sectors. Just now I mentioned that when it comes to pre-approved solutions, we not only have the pre-approved solution, we also work with banks and telcos to drive adoption. So in this case, for new SMEs, for example, those SMEs that actually just started, a lot of times is we want to help them start digitalization journey early. So we do work with the banks and telcos as shown as below, DBS, M1, Maybank, OCBC, Singtel, StarHub, and UOB. We actually introduced the Start Digital Pack. This is actually consists of 2 solutions for the following basic categories such as accounting, HR management system and payroll, digital transaction and cybersecurity. So Grow Digital aims to actually help our business go global easily through our different e-commerce platform without having to invest in a physical presence overseas. This is actually especially crucial as we are expected to actually remain in the COVID-19 environment for some times. Currently, actually more than 500 SME in Singapore has gained access to new overseas market through the digital platform under this initiative. Just now I talked about the different touch point that actually SME can go to for help. So we have the SME centers, we have actually the Heartland Enterprise Center as well, and also the Start Digital partners are also strong partners and touch point for SME to actually understand basic IT, to get actually basic IT advisory. So we do under IMDA's SME Go Digital program, we do have add-on service that is actually the Digital Tech Hub and also the Digital Project Management Services. We will share more later. Just as I mentioned, after going to SME centers, if they found that you actually need further IT advisory, they will refer you to our Digital Tech Hub. The Digital Tech Hub is actually run by SME and consists formed by a group of consultants with more than 30 years of IT experience. They actually have IT expertise in IT strategy, cybersecurity, IoT, digital analytics to actually guide our SME to identify suitable solutions for their digitalization need. And this is actually offered to our SME at no cost. And to help our SME implement digital solutions and projects, we actually have the Digital Project Management Services, which is run by Singapore Manufacturing Federation, SMF. So one pain point we noted that is a lot of SMEs actually find it hard to implement digital solutions because they either do not have the expertise or actually they do not have the time. So what happened is through this initiative, they can actually tap on a pool of 500 plus experienced digital project management. And this actually up to 70% co-funding for the SMEs. So one thing to note, we realize that through this initiative, when it comes to implementation of digital solutions, we see that there's actually long-term sustainability, and the project management managers can also help them look at job redesign processes so that they can have a better resource management and also improve their time management as well. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation, and I'll hand it over back to the MC.
All right, thanks, Xiao Hong, for your presentation. I think I'm seeing a very few questions coming in, so don't forget, right down below, there's a Q&A button. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions, okay? So now we'll move on to our Q&A session. May I invite the two webinar co-chairs together with the three speakers to join us on the panel. We also have with us in the areas of expertise for workforce, Ms. Shirley Loh, accommodation and transport, Mr. Sebastian Lim, worksite application and processes, Engineer Vivian Fu, audit and inspection, Mr. Derek Ang, swap, Mr. Tony Teo, and staggered rest day issues from MOM, Mr. Dalvinder Singh. And you may participate in the conversation by posting your questions via the Q&A button on your screen, or by clicking the raise hand button to ask verbal questions once we activate the function. So over to you, webinar co-chairs, please.
Hi, yeah, good afternoon. Well, once again, thanks. Must thank all the speakers for all your presentations. Yeah, it's a very wide-ranging topic this afternoon, ranging from COVID safe to VR solutions to what the SME can expect as far as the digital solutions adoption is concerned. So probably just to kickstart the panel, I understand most of the questions have been answered. That's nice. So maybe just to indulge me a bit, yeah. Probably the first questions I would like to goes to Calvin from BCA, just to check if I am a firm that have no knowledge about what CSP is all about. CSP in terms of COVID safe platform, right, is all about. But I know I have to introduce something like that in my workplace. So what kind of support can a firm get from the appointed vendors by IMDA? Kevin?
Okay, sure. Thanks, Mr. Leong. So allow me to just provide a quick recap. So in terms of the physical devices, there are three main categories. So a key device would be the worksite access control with the thermal scanners for biometric recognition for the entrance whitelist checking. Other devices include the AI camera and Bluetooth wearables. So the cost of these devices are supported up to 80% under the ADS grant. For the appointed solution providers, or what IMDA calls the ADS project leads, they can come in to help the firms integrate these devices with their front-end solutions, which we call the site management platforms, right? To enable firms to get the data analytics and visualization. So what this means for firms is they can get a more integrated experience, reducing the time required for mundane processes such as collation and recording of various information, with their hardware connected via a plug and play fast-free approach. Next, they can get this automated compliance reporting, such as the builder daily report to BCA that will be done in a seamless manner via the SMPs. And of course, the solution providers will be able to customize these devices to your operational needs and requirements. So what this means is the firms actually can reach out to the ADS project leads. What we have is Harbor and Nobit currently, to see how the devices can be customized based on the layout of your project sites, and also to go about the application for the ADS grant.
Right. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, for clarifying. As for Kali, I think one of the puzzles in my mind is that from Bostik's customers, what are some of those challenges that your customers face when they approach the company to seek help and in terms of the VR solutions that you have presented just now?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Leong. Allow me to just briefly share what are the challenges. I think some of the challenges that were posted, the question about in terms of connectivity, I think those legit challenges that we face because in terms of internet connectivity on site, there is very little connectivity, especially those far-flung areas. Well, if we look at the digital inspection per se, just now I mentioned to you guys how we capture 360 images using a mobile app platform, how we overcome this connectivity issue. There is an offline function that allows you to capture those images, and effectively once you have reached a place where there's good connectivity in terms of your 4G or your internet connectivity, you can download them. That's one. In terms of virtual collaboration, if I may say, just now we talked about how a BIM model or building information model is used to coordinate and understand the issues early. If I were to put it simply, I think today, if you are based at home or if you are based in the office, I'm happy to say that we don't actually face a lot of issues with that in terms of internet connectivity, the challenge. Now, one of the biggest challenge that we do face also together with the customer is understanding expectation or managing expectation. Again, if I go back to some of the questions that were posted, some of them mentioned about how about the quality of those images that were captured in 360. Similar, my answer to that is similar to what we experience in Google Maps or Google Earth. But of course, if you have the means to upgrade your camera, you can always upgrade to a better resolution camera. That's one. Okay, so those are some of the key challenges that we face, but at the same time is also to facilitate. If I may say this, I think you do know, right, during this whole pandemic or COVID-19 situation that we are facing right now, and we are not even going back to post pandemic or pre-pandemic situation where we want to minimize site inspection or site visit altogether. With the 360 apps that we have, it can facilitate site visit without the need for you to go down physically on site. And this give you or give the customer in that sense an overview and assurance that works are going on site, and you have an overview of what you can see with all those images, 360 images that was captured. So yeah, I hope that answer your question, Mr. Leong.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah, I believe it also clarified some of the questions that is being posted up there. Yeah, and for Xiaohong, I think I'm quite glad that the IMDA have such a wide suites of solution that is being provided, and something come to my mind is that if a firms can't adopt the IDP solution wholesale, they need to do some customization for whatever specific needs of their that is unique to their own company. Will they get help from the angle?
Okay, so for just now I mentioned when it comes to customization, right, there's actually a few routes. I think I earlier shared the pilot projects, which is actually helping the SME to actually adopt more innovative solutions. There's also from ESG, the Enterprise Development Grant as well, which actually can have a larger scope of customization. One thing to know about the pre-approved solutions, they are pre-scoped. That means, right, when we pre-scope it, the reason why we pre-scope is actually to make sure that that it's actually suitable for SMEs, and the SMEs actually can adopt it with lower risk. So I think that's the reason why there's the pre-scoping part. But for those SME who need certain level of customization, we do have the pilot projects and also the EDG grants that actually help them to do some customization with the vendors.
Right. Thanks so much. Right.
I think I saw a question at how
yes.
do you derive at 26% value add improvement? So I I may not be the best person to address this, but I will, from my understanding, this is actually based on a survey done by MTI last year, May 2019, which are under the digital adoption among firms and impacts on firm level outcomes in Singapore. So what happened is actually they did a study and also looking at the firm's adoption of basic digital tools, such as the computer usage, the digital platform tools, and also even e-commerce, e-payment, the software as a service, and also some of the advanced digital tools such as IoT, data analytics, and AI as well. So what happened is through these studies, they actually determine this actually through a statistical study, this methodology, and through their regression study, they found that, you know, for these companies, especially the SMEs, they actually experienced the 26% value add improvement and also the 17% increment in productivity. So I mean, the actual document can actually found on the MTI website. But I would say that this actually based on the studies and also statistical analysis to derive that figure.
Thank you. Perhaps can we want to address the questions on CSP, whether applicable the subcon, is this CSP is applicable to the subcon as well? Yeah. Kevin, you want to take that question?
Yep, sure. So yes, CSP is applicable to subcons. Depending on how the front end, the site management platforms are set up, of course the main con will be in the key decision point to choose whether you want to onboard their subcons. From what we see, most main cons will choose to onboard most of their subcons for better, visibility and to manage the works accordingly. So of course, it'll be beneficial if all the subcons are onboarded on CSP.
Okay, so essentially the CSP is very worksite centric, as I understand it. So as long as the particular worksite have already onboarded onto the CSP, then any subcon that is working within the worksites will already be onboarded, right? Am I right to say that, Kevin?
Yep, that's right.
Thanks. There's quite a couple of questions for Kali on posted there. Do you want to address it? There's questions on asking whether the other form of structural site inspections is it will it be also covered, as well as some of the imagings, whether how it compare across a certain timeline and determine the progress. Yeah, Kali, you want to take over?
Yep. Let me try to take a stab at those questions. Yes, you can do those inspection with the 360 camera effectively. So like I mentioned, any kind of inspection can be done with a 360 camera. So this 360 camera is actually what you see is what you get effectively, and you can mount it on a hard hat, or you can even carry it using a stand moving around. So my direct answer is yes, you can do those inspection. Now, having said that, you also need to manage in terms of the image resolution. As I mentioned just now, how do you actually effectively conduct those inspection prior to this? And if you are able to manage the expectation, you are able to say that as compared to what you have done before, now this is what you need to do, and you minimize the risk of having a lot of physical contact on site. I think that's the key idea here that we want to drive to everyone in the industry.
Maybe if I allow me to add on, is that inspection actually covers quite a wide range of area. What Khalid have covered is on the supervision part of it, to use remote images to do supervision. But some of the question I realized we are heading towards surveillance. That means that you are able to identify defects as well as a fault or even safety non-conformances and things like that. So that part of it, my learning is that you need a lot of AI in order to teach the systems to be able to identify those kind of area, which will be a very different ball game altogether. Yeah, so I think for supervision, it's more of just replacing a warm body on the ground. But for surveillance, is really you really need it is a blue ocean at the moment still. Yeah,
that's right. Thank you, Mr. Long. If I were to add there, that's where video analytics come into the picture. They can identify some of those non-compliance in terms of supervision. That's what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And you need machine learning and AI to come into play for them to identify those non-compliance.
Yes. All right. Raymond, you got any burning questions? Otherwise, there are...
I actually have a question, yeah. Mr. Leong. I think just now we mentioned a lot about SME. How about those companies that doesn't fit the criteria of SME? Because if I may say this, COVID-19 cut across all the board, cut across the board. Big companies are also affected or impacted by COVID-19. And it's a whole ecosystem that we are talking about. But what I've seen today, a lot of it is directed towards supporting SME. Yes, I do know that it's very important, but also the big players or the criteria for us, if we cannot fit the criteria of SME, is there any help for us on hand?
Xiaohong, you want to take this?
Okay, am I on? Oh, yes. So I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. Because I think for the ADS, the companies, the non-SMEs can also take up the ADS support. Am I right to say that?
Right. The key clause for ADS is to have a 30% local shareholding. So it's not based on whether it's SME or MNC. Yeah.
So as mentioned, the ADS actually comes into play is to actually not only support the SMEs, but also the big players who also need some help as well. So I mean, of course, the SME Go Digital program was set up in 2017, actually aims to help the SMEs. But we understand during this COVID situation, there's actually additional help needed for the other players in the sector. So actually ADS, they not only help the SMEs, they also help the non-SMEs as well. So I think for the some of the grants, I think even for, if I'm not wrong, give me a moment. I think for the EDG grant, if I'm not wrong, it's not just for the SMEs. It's actually as long as you have the 30% local shareholding, you can actually onboard yourself for the EDG grant as well. This is under Enterprise Singapore.
All right, thank you.
Right. I think that also answer one of the panel question from Ken Tan, whether ADS can benefit subcontractors that is not implementing SMM. But I must say that the CSP at the moment is tailored specifically to tackle the SMM issue on the ground. But certainly moving ahead, we can also expect the CSP to expand its features and functionality further. So from the angle, I won't close the door to say that it's only for SMM alone for now. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. And there's also another question on CSP, since we are on the CSP part, whether the government is going to procure on behalf of the whole industry. I think at the moment, what I understand is that different work sites have different requirements, so it's very hard to bulk procure at one shot. So this current arrangement of the CSP back end is fully paid by the government, and so it's FOC, right, for anybody to tap on. And as for the front end, right, it varies from worksite to worksite. Some worksite need more cameras, some worksite need more thermal scanners. So the front end part is flexible. So to allow the construction firm to decide what they need, and then IMDA side will provide the necessary grant to help out in terms up to 80%, to defray up to 80% of the cost, or 20K, whichever is lower. So this is, I think, is a more flexible manner than bulk purchase for the whole industry. Yeah. Let's see. I think we have answered most of the questions. Yeah, including those smart inspection issues that we say that, yeah, as far as smart surveillance is concerned, I think this area, we have a lot more work to do. It's not just about supervision. Yeah, it's really about making use of the technology to be able to help the inspector on the ground to better identify any potential fault. Yeah. So, great. Let's see. Any more questions from the ground? We have overrun a bit already, right? Anyway, nice. So if not, then we will hand the time back to our MC.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Mr. Leong, and thank you, webinar co-chairs. Thank you, panelists, as well, for sharing with us your insights. So we have come to the end of this session, but before we go, I'd like to share with everyone one of our key events happening in January 2021, 18 and 19 of January, the Built Environment and Property Prospects Seminar 2021, where we will be sharing exclusive insights and preview of the market prospects. This is a hybrid event happening both in the physical and virtual format, and seats are limited, so hurry and do register using the link given above or right now in the chat. All right. So after exiting this webinar, you'll be directed to access an evaluation form for today's session. Once you have submitted, you will be able to download the speaker's presentation materials via the website as shown. So on this note, we thank you for your participation and making this last webinar for 2020 a success. On behalf of BCA and SCAL, we wish you a safe and joyful Christmas and a successful year ahead. Signing off, this is Colin from BCA.